Welcome to a little foxy painting. First things first, plot out where your fox is going to be by dropping in the head, the shoulders and the hindquarters. You can then build the skeleton, as I'd call it, around these so you know where you're going to fill in the lines. I'm going much heavier with the pencil than I normally would if I was just doing a painting for myself, but so that you guys can see what I'm doing, I thought I'd better press on a little harder. Remember, this is just an outline that you're going to fill in. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be rounded, you don't have to make the perfect fox at this point. It's just something for you to follow with the paints once we start. I also want to be honest here. I am rattling this off with very little eraser action, but that is because this is now my 8th time drawing this fox. I drew it at the beginning of January for my 100 Days of Foxes project. I've also done 6 little practices to put together a how-to sheet, and this is the final one, number 8. So I don't want you thinking that, you're having difficulties, you can't do it, whatever, just because it's not happening as quick as this. I've also got it on double speed, and during this bit, because it's a bit boring, and the watery bit, it's a little bit faster as well, just to save you having to watch the slow-mo bit. So what I'm doing here is removing some of the pencil marks, because once we start watercolouring we don't want that black showing up. And right now we're putting on a layer of water on all the sides facing us. So not the whole fox, just the legs facing the front, the tail, the body and the head. And next we're adding in a golden yellow. So for me this is hansa yellow, but you might also use cadmium yellow or cad-free yellow, which is a similar colour depending on what set you've got. And this is going most all over the fox there, avoiding any areas that's going to be dark, and then adding in a little bit of pyrrol red, or this could be flame red if you've got something similar, on the areas that are going to be a little brighter. So we're just shading it in, getting a little bit of ombre action going on. And now you're adding in the really bright orangey red. Again, this is just adding more of the red you used to make the orange, just to brighten it up. These are the sections that are going to be the official fox colour. Now depending on the fox, it might have more orange, more white, more grey or more brown. This guy has a very creamy bum, and I used buff titanium or cream there along the bottom of the tail and on his hindquarters. And what I'm doing just here is adding pure water to the paint as it dries. This is going to force it to cauliflower, which makes a lovely fur pattern, particularly on these little foxes. the inner of the back legs. That's just to designate a shadow effect so that it's separate from the rest of the body. And then we can also add colour in where needed to show that it's still part of our lovely little fox. Adding a little bit of the fox orange to certain sections on the legs depending which area it's visible on, because on the other side it's orange like this fox that we can see on the front. What we're doing here is dropping some water on so that we can add the darker reds and browns to this fox. Foxes aren't just the basic rusty orange colour that we all know and love. They have browns, reds, golds, blacks, whites, silvers. Such a beautiful animal to paint, and you get to use all the beautiful reds in your palette that you don't get to use on a normal landscape. The way that I'm doing this is by dropping water straight onto the painting with a random edge. This is going to give a nice natural effect to where the paint's actually going and give you a lovely texture for the edge of the paint against the oranges that you've already done. Don't forget, your little foxy needs those beautiful black ear tips. And if you need to, go back in and add a little more darkness to his little socks. And a little more blob water painting so that you can get a little bit of darkness in that light spot on his bum. Remember to add a little more shadow wherever needed. Just a little bit of watered down black from his feet will do. And then we're going to add a little cream and shadow to the white on his breast, just so that you can see it against the paper once it's all dry. Sometimes I put a little bit too much paint on and you'll see me go back in like that, just to lift that paint off. If you use clean water and wipe it off so it's almost dry, you can lift most colours off the page if they're still quite wet. A little buff titanium again in his ears, and a little bit of blue to add the darkness where it's going down into where he can hear. Some of that same watered down blue just to add an edge to the buff titanium on his chest, just to make it more obvious for the delineation. And then it's time to be brave and outline his eye. Now if you want, you can get a smaller paintbrush, but if you can get a nice point on your normal paintbrush, you can just carry on regardless, like I have, and just put that black outline and his pupil in. Don't forget, the fox needs to be stood on something, and in this instance it's snow. So I've just used a little bit of watered down blue purple just to put a shadow underneath him. Make sure you've got all the details done on your fox, and when it's time, sign it. Be proud. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to see more things like this and other artworks, feel free to follow me here on YouTube or over on Instagram. I'd love to see you again sometime. Bye for now.